like these other cars to the kids that age out of the system, we partner with James Storehouse. So we don't give away the whole car, but we give away part of it. The majority of our profit, like for example, there's a car I would have sold for $10,000 out the door. It was a Toyota Prius. I gave it to them for $5,000. So I basically paid half of the car. But I do that over and over and over again. So these are special place in my heart are these kids who age out of the foster care system. So now they're 18, 19, 20, you know, the system in general, not just foster kids, but, you know, group homes or whatever. Like I was 16 years old, 15 years old, 16 years old when I became emancipated. Emancipated means you're now your own like
guardian.
Yeah. So now
you don't answer to anybody.
Yeah. You get custody of yourself, basically.
Yeah, you're a kid who.
Yeah, I'm my own parent.
Is that what they mean by kids raising kids? No.
Yeah, basically.
Basically.
You know, but here's one thing from my experiences. Okay, so they had me tested. I have a higher IQ, so that okay, check. You're smart, right? They sent me through this like independent living program, and okay, now you know how the basics of how to
survive,
cook, grocery shop, budget, all that stuff. And then, all of that, but because of the life I lived that, not by my choices, but by the circumstances that I was exposed to as a child that got me to there, my mental health wasn't good. My rational, my emotional control, all that stuff was not, it needed work, right? At the time when I was like 16. So I ended up living on my own, and I made pretty much every mistake you would expect a kid to make at 16 years old. That had all this like past trauma from a bad childhood, right? A rough childhood. So I ended up homeless, and I ended up 17, 18, 19 years old. I'm homeless. And it was rough. And I didn't have resources out there. I didn't have people. I had a few people here and there, right?
But there's not like a James Storehouse, basically.
Yeah, like this. I mean, there was, but I didn't have access to them.
Right.
Right. And they weren't as
it's also
prominent.
knowledge. It's also knowledge. Like you have to know where to go.
Yeah, I could have got like food stamp. I'm sure I could have went to like some shelter or whatever.
Yeah.
But I chose to sleep in abandoned houses or couch.
It's almost easier.
Yeah.
It's almost like in a way easier instead of having to go look and get turned down and figure it out.
And back then there wasn't the internet.
Yeah, now it's like shit. There's no excuse.
Now you got internet resource on your cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
Back then there was no. I mean, maybe there was an internet, but I didn't.
You have access to it.
I didn't know anything about it,
and it wasn't readily available on the cell phone. Now,
I did. There was no cell phones.
Yeah,
back then I had a pager.
Yeah,
I had a pager. That was my technology.
I had a pager before.
And then I met girls, and sometimes I'd spend the night and they'd cook me a meal, and that was like my little way out of sleeping on the streets at night. And my pager girls would text me. Go to the payphone. Hey, what are you doing? Can I come over and hang out with you?
Good old days.
And those were like my adventures. So I had a pager, and that's all I had in my name. And I actually got a quick story about that, but it was anyway, having the resources that, would have kept me, that would have helped me get a job. Like if someone gave me a car back then, that would have changed my life. I would have had transportation to get a car. And I mean, they don't just give them a car. You have to get your driver's license, insurance, have responsibility. I mean, so there's some effort put in by those kids. But if someone gave me a car to help me get a good job instead of I was doing landscaping. I was making $150 a week take home, working 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. And I was still homeless because you can't really live off of $150 a week.
No, that's yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I remember one time I slept in. My boss, who owned the landscaping company, had this really big yard in Kansas City, Missouri, and I snuck in to the back of his yard and slept in one of the work trucks one night.
What the heck?
Yeah, and then I snuck out before it was time to work, and then I'd show up at his house.
You show back up and it's like
to report to work. So I just got out, walked around, and knocked on his door. Hey, I'm here for work. He didn't even know. He had no idea.
Oh, I remember how I got my first car is actually Rachel got financial aid for going to school.
Oh, yeah.
And then so I bought my buddy's 1995 Eagle Talon with that car. I love that car.
Was that your very first car? Eagle Talon, I remember.
It's a Mitsubishi Eclipse Turbo.
Okay. So I had two first cars. All right. And I take it back. So I had a mentor appointed by the state. And I mean, it was kind of obvious he was more doing it for money, but he also had a good heart, worked at a nonprofit. But he did bring up the fact that, this was money for him and whatever. His neighbor said, hey, do you know anyone that needs a car? She gave me a 1989 Delta 88, Oldsmobile Delta 88. Cool car. I love the car. I never got to have the car though. So the deal was I had to get my driver's license to get the car. I was like 16 at the time. And, so they gave me the car, but I never got to have it. Kept it at his house, and then I kept doing, whatever. I was being hard-headed. Whatever it was. And then he finally said, "Hey, if you do this one more time or whatever." I was staying at a group home, and I wasn't coming home every night.
So they gave you an ultimatum.
Yeah, I'd spend the night at my friend or my so-called friend's house. It's like, if you break the rules one more time, we're going to take away the car. And they did. And I never got my driver's license. So that was my first car. 89 Delta 88. I never got to keep or own or drive. Second car, which was actually technically my first car, 1979 Mercury Zephyr. Had holes in the floorboard. It was rusted. The brakes didn't work that well. It ran and drove. And I paid $350 in payments. To the guy. Yeah. So I gave him I think 150, then another 100, then another 100. And when I gave him the other 100, because I didn't know how to drive, I sent my friend Twan to go pick up the car. Oh. I was like, hey, can you go pick up this car I bought? I don't know how to drive. So he got the car, drove it. Didn't have brakes.
So was it like a layaway? Did you a layaway? Yeah, like a layaway. Yeah, you paid for it and then you got the car?
But then it became more Twan's car than my car because he's driving around everywhere, and I drove it a couple times.
So you didn't even really get that one.
It wasn't even really my car. And then it broke down, and that was the end of that car.
$350 down the drain.
Yeah.
How long did it last?
I don't know, maybe a couple months.
Okay. Yeah.
But that was when I still had I had a house. So I got my first house at 16 years old. It was $400 a month. It was an apartment. And I got behind on my rent because all my friends, my so-called friends, they were stealing my money as I was making it. I remember I had the money order for the rent in my pocket, and I had narcolepsy as a kid. So when I was young, come home from work, I fell asleep, and my house was like the party spot. So all the people that were so-called friends of mine would just come over,
and steal the money.
Use my place for a party, a hangout spot, and steal my money. So they took it out of my pocket. And I was kind of dumb too. I was gullible, right? I didn't, I was like, oh yeah,
It's like, no, you gave it to me, remember?
Didn't think anyone would steal from me. But yeah, they wait till I fell asleep and picked my pocket and whatever. So I remember that, and then that was a snowball effect, and I got behind on rent and moved out, and then, started my journey as a homeless kid. But yeah, my first car, 79 Mercury Zephyr. And then after that, I guess the first car I had after that was another, oh no, I'm sorry. Okay. So my very first car that was given to me was a Buick Regal. 86 Buick Regal. My first car I had that was like mine that I actually drove and had and was a good car was an 89 Delta 88.
So that's the one you drove.
That's the one I drove. Yeah.
The Regal is the one you never got.
The Regal is the one I never got to.
The one that got away.
Yeah, the one that got away. It was a 2-door Regal.